Hi everyone, if you purchase this pattern, this is the tutorial. I'm gonna be using this thread here. It's a number 4 thread. It is probably worsted, I would say, but I'm gonna leave the link down to the description below because Lion brand has exactly this same yarn here, okay? You're gonna use one row of their yarn to make any size you are making for this, okay? From extra small to extra large, you need one spool of this cotton yarns, 100% cotton in my case. Lion brand, I think, has a polyester mix, but the weight's exactly the same, okay? This is our skirt. As you can see, it has elastic here to hold better on the ribbing, and I'm gonna explain later how to add this. And it has, I added here on the pocket this piece of leather that I bought in a row. This leather comes in a row. I'm gonna leave it all on the description of the pattern where you can buy this, okay? And a little magnetic button as well. Thread, tapestry needle, and scissors. That's what you're gonna need to make this pattern. So let's get started, guys. I'm making a size medium. For me, my hips are around 39 inches now, so it's 35 centimeters or 13 and a half. And on the side it has 42, 43 and 16 and a half inches for size medium, okay? All the other sizes will be in the pattern, okay? So let's get started, guys. I started this skirt on the top here, and all the rest of the sizes are explained in the pattern, okay? So this is the stitch I'm using. Every two double crochets I have a front post stitch. So after I made 5 rows here, you can actually make as many rows as you want the top part of your skirt to be, okay, to have. And then I added this loop here of elastic. As you can see, the elastic is a little smaller than the skirt, and that's that I made that on purpose because I wanted this to be a bit elasticized so it doesn't look loose on your body, okay? So after that, what I did was to make this skirt, because this is the top and it goes on the waist, it needs less stitches. Now for the after I made this single crochet row, what I did was every 10 stitches I increased one this way, making 2 in each stitch. So I made 10 double crochets and increase 1, 10 double crochets and increased 1. So I had 14 extra stitches in this first row to make the rest of the skirt. That's the part that's gonna cover your ass, so, and your hips, and it has to be a little wider than the waist part, okay? Now I'm gonna quickly explain this stitch here that I'm using for the side. Okay, it uses the front post stitch as well. I'm gonna explain how I did that right now. So on the first row, I started with 3 chains. And then I skipped 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 here to make my first front post stitch, okay? In this situation now, going forward in the next few rows, what I'm going to do is, if I finished this here, and is one stitch right next to this one, I'm going to have the 3 chains. Otherwise, I'm gonna have the 3 chains at the end, like the row underneath, okay? So chain 3, and then front post the first stitch, front post the second stitch, like this, and then just make 2 double crochets in the next 2 double crochets. they are always going to be worked like this. Okay, now chain 1. We will be always making 1 chain before this shell stitch, and then I'm going to have 1 and 1 chain, 1 double crochet and 1 chain, always making them in that same chain from underneath. 1 double crochet, 1 chain, and 1 double crochet, 1 chain. Okay, this is how it's gonna be. The one underneath is, we are going to work in the same chain as well. 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1. Okay, this is the row underneath. That's gonna be a little different, not much. And then just double crochet in the next 2 double crochets. And straight from here, now you can see I have the 3 chains underneath. I'm going to do the opposite in this row. I'm going to just straight away front post the first front post stitch, front post the second one, and then chain 3. See, it's always the opposite. And then here I'm going to just double crochet the whole way. Now, I'm going to double crochet all the way to here. Now, how did I find out the position of these stitches here? So this combination of stitches takes 25 stitches, okay? And I had 150 stitches, so I decreased this number of stitches, which is 50, and then I saw how many stitches I had left, and the stitches I had left, I just divided by 2, so I had 50 here and around 50 here. So how did I count? I count 25 stitches this way, and then I started this work. Of course, this is gonna change for other sizes, okay, and it's all calculated in the pattern, so you know where to place this, because this is gonna sit right on the side of your legs, okay? Now, because I'm going to add pockets next, I'm going to make 1 more row of this, so it's gonna be 6 rows with this work. And then I'm going to make around 10 rows of just double crochets, because I'm going to place the pockets on the sides, okay? So I'm going to place pockets on the sides, and then I don't need this work. And then after these 10 rows that I'm going to place the pockets on the sides, I'm going to make around 5-6 extra rows with the work again, okay? It really depends on how long you want your skirt to be. You could be making a long skirt. I saw there's really fashion right now to use long cargo skirts. You can make a long cargo skirt and just add more pockets if you want. But I'm making a short one, so it's around that number of rows. I might be making more, but I'll be explaining later on in the video how many more rows, but you can keep adding rows as you want, depending of how long you want your skirt to be, okay? So this is how the stitch is like. I'm going to be making 1 more row of this, and then I'm going to make around 10 rows with just double crochets to add the pockets on the sides, okay? And this is how this skirt is done. I'm gonna be showing you the end result next in this video, and then explaining about sizes, okay? Now this is the back of my skirt. As you can see, I have a few rows already and restarted the work. Just left this place here for the pocket, and it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 rows for the pocket. Okay, that's exactly where I'm gonna put it after. And here, one thing I wanted to show you, as you can see, this is not straight, this line. And I wanted to show you quickly how to make it straight, so when you start the second part of the work, you're gonna start exactly on the same stitch, okay? So to do that, after this last stitch here, I'm going to put my hook through that second chain and pull it through as a slip stitch. Okay, from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hook in this second stitch and pull that loop through it this way, okay? And then you're gonna have a loop here. And then again, put the hook through that second stitch, the same one you just did, and pull through this way and make a chain and 2. This way you're gonna always be starting in this second stitch. So as you can see, it's straight from here where I started to do that. And that means when you start the second part of this different stitch we are using for the sides, you're gonna start exactly on the same stitch you started before, okay? I didn't do that, I was a cook, so I'm showing you how to do it. And then keep making rows, okay? I have 22, as I said. I'm going to make a few more with this stitch here because I'm still not happy with how long it is. I want it longer for me, and that's also what you can do. This is probably good for a small already, this number of rows, but because I'm a medium size and I like my skirts a little longer, I'm making a few more rows, okay? And then after this, I'm going to make a full single crochet row on top here to finish this better with the elastic band as well, okay? Now, after I finished here, I made a full row of single crochets just to finish it better, mainly in this part here. And then I just placed another yarn tail on the top here to start working on the top and making a full row of single crochets on top of this elastic, just to make the top of this a little more tight. So I'm going to work on the back of each chain here, and underneath this elastic it's gonna look exactly like this. And then you pull through the stitch. Make sure that elastic is right and make the stitch. And then you go through the second loop, pull through underneath the elastic and pull the stitch. Just make sure you don't twist the elastic on the back. Just always working on the same side here where it is now, because it can easily does twist, and make the stitches tight as well to make sure you're gonna cover that elastic properly. And then when you reach that little knots there, you can make a few more stitches just to cover it up properly. You can make like 2 stitches in that same chain just to cover it better. And then repeat the work all around. You can also pull it sometimes. This is how it's gonna look at the end. You won't be able to see it, and it's gonna hold the skirt much better. So keep doing this all around, and then I'm gonna come back so we can make the pockets on the sides here. So I made this skirt all the way to the end. I have 27 rows here for a size medium, okay? But you can keep making these rows. They are all the same. It's the same stitch that we made on top here. And I finished with a single crochet row all around the piece. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you how I made this pocket. You don't need to add this if you don't want, if you don't have at home, but it's a piece of leather where I put a magnetic bottom on in here and here. If you don't want to do this, you can simply add this magnetic bottom and seam this here and here on this side. Okay, if you want to just add the magnetic bottom here. The way I calculated this pocket was I simply counted the number of stitches from here to here that match with the size of pocket that I wanted. Okay, so I started my pocket with 20, a foundation chain, a foundation of 28 chains, okay? So here I have 26 stitches, okay? But that will depend of on the size of your skirt, okay? If you're making a large, you're probably gonna have a few more stitches, okay? If you want the pocket to be the same size. If you are making a small, you're gonna have less. But again, I'm gonna leave it pre-calculated in the pattern, but feel free to change if you need to, okay? Sometimes we need to change to match with the size we're making. Now, I made a full row after I finished, so I made 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 rows here. And then I made an extra row only on the top of single crochets. Here I made a full row of single crochets all around the piece, just to make it more firm for to add here on the top. And I'm actually gonna finish it better here. And now I'm just simply gonna seam. I left a long piece of yarn, and I'm simply gonna seam all right in this place here with the yarn tail I left and some tapestry needle, okay? So I'm going to seam right on the top of the beginning of the work here. Place your pocket where you want it to be and just keep a straight line down to the bottom, working like this. Here you can seam the way you prefer. There's no special way of seaming this. Okay, and just seam all around. You can place pins if you want, okay? If you feel more comfortable, just place pins so it won't move around. And then after that, I'm going to seam this side's a little smaller, right where I finished the work here, and right in the middle here. And then after that, I'm gonna show you how to place that leather piece here. Now I finished seaming the pocket, and now I'm going to add the leather. In case you decided to do this, I have this little tool to punch holes for the leather, and all I did was just place this on top and mark the places where I have to add to make the holes, okay, and then turn around and glue with the glue this bottom to the other side, so it's fixed properly. And then with the needle and thread we are going to seam as well, okay? It needs to be really well fixed to this part. Then we're gonna place this one here, seam this one here, after, and just place this one and seam this, and then seam this to the right place on the other side. And the last thing we're going to do is seam this right in the middle of the pocket. Well, I'm doing around 3 times on each hole, just like this. Now place this one on the right place and seam this one, and then after seam this one here. And this is how our skirt looks like. I'm gonna show from very close so you can have an idea of how I did it. And there you go, that's our cargo skirt tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments or send me a message on Etsy that I answer everyone there, okay? Thank you for watching, guys, and thank you for purchasing this pattern. I hope you enjoy it. And I see you on the next tutorial.